life on other planets? Do you think there's life on other planets?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like to think about it for a second?
Oh, not really.
Tell me, do you think there is life on other planets?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I suppose it would be.
Ich glaube, er passt zu allen Männern.
Und zu allen Frauen. Der neue BMW 1800.
What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of Chasing Classics. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, but I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot from this video, because standing behind me is possibly one of the most iconic cars that BMW ever manufactured, and this particular car set the pace for BMW for future cars. So stay tuned guys, let's get into it. Now guys, let me give you a bit of history on how I came about owning this car. So you guys know I got a spotter in Cape Town, and I came across this ad on Marketplace, and for some reason this car stood out to me because I've never owned one. I've always wanted to own one, but this particular one is a special car purely because it's a one-owner car. So I sent my spotter to go and purchase the vehicle, and the car came to me. But before it came to me, I had to fix up the exhaust and do a few things, small things on the car to get it running. Car came to me. When I saw the car the first time, I absolutely loved it. And to tell you why this car is so special, it's a one owner 1800 Ti. I'll get into the history in a bit, but this is a one owner car, and it's got all the documentation from 1964 up until current year. So that means that every invoice, every slip, the logbook for the fuel, anything pertaining to this car's maintenance history has been filed and kept, and I now have the file and all the documentation and paperwork on this car. That's how special this car is. But before we get into the actual car, I want to tell you guys something. I no longer own this car. I sold this car just before I went to the UK, and this car actually was my funding to take me to the UK. So I want to also explain that to you guys is, you'll notice I always say in my videos, it's never where you have a large amount of money sitting. You're always sacrificing something for the next car, or you're always sacrificing something or sacrificing a car to put money into your business. So it's technically like a hustle. So this car we need to thank for allowing us to go to the UK, because whatever I sold this car for is the money that paid for my UK trip. So it's a very special car. I'm sad I sold it, however I'm glad that I sold the car to one of my good clients, Jody and Jaden. I'm currently restoring a few cars for them, father and son duo. So this car is going into their collection, and the moment Jody seen the car, he fell in love with the car and he had to have the car. So I'm excited to take you guys through the future work that we're going to do on the car, but let me give you a bit of history on the car. I'm sure you must be thinking to yourself, BMW, this car definitely does not look like a car that would make a name for itself. I'm going to explain to you guys why this car is so special. So let me take you guys back to 1959. So BMW had just come out of the Isetta era, and they weren't doing too well with that car, and they needed to make something of themselves and their name. So in 1959, BMW developed this shaped car, but it was dubbed the 1500. The 1500 had a single overhead cam motor, not the most powerful car. However, because it was a change from the norm of what BMW was used to, when BMW put this car in production, they sold all the units of the car, so it started doing well. The car was released at the Frankfurt Motor Show in 1961, so manufactured and developed in 1959, took a bit of a process and then released at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and that's when the sales went through the roof. Now obviously with BMW hitting the nail on the head with the 1500, they then developed the 1600. However, you guys know it, I know it, BMW is very competitive, so BMW needed to take it up a notch. This particular model, the 1800 Ti, changed the game for BMW. So initially the 1500, the 1600 was the normal standard single carburetor with the old single overhead cam motor. BMW took it up a notch, developed the 1800 Ti, and went a bit further with the performance. So instead of having the single carburetor setup, BMW went with the dual carburetor setup, which means more power, and played a bit with the suspension to help with the road handling of the car. But there was a reason why BMW did that. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of perspective. So 1800 Ti meaning Touring International. So out of this series, this is the second most desirable vehicle. The first most desirable vehicle is the 1800 Ti/SA. SA was a specific race model spec car of this version, and in order to buy the vehicle, you needed to have a specific racing license to purchase the vehicle. So that car in this series is more sought after. This is your second most desirable vehicle. Now I want to tell you guys something that's amazing. This car's competition back in the day was Mini, was Alfa Romeo, and a few other brands. This car demolished the competition. I remember reading an article on it. It competed in a race or a series of races. 16 races, the car won 14 of its races. So that goes to show you the direction BMW headed. And this technically was the first performance model for BMW in the 60s. This particular car is a 1964 with full service history, full documentation, etc, etc. Now, I never knew how special this car was up until I owned it. Now as it stands, I was just telling everyone around me that it's possibly one of the cars that I will regret, or I am regretting selling, because number one, you don't come across them. Number two, it's the TI version. Number three, it's a one owner car with full documentation, and it's very, very, very original. And to find cars like this in today's day and age is super, super difficult. Now I want to take you guys through a few of the pointers, what I looked at and what I appreciated of the car, and that made me fall in love with the car. But remember, I sacrificed it for the UK trip. So some will say, Chip, you dumb, how can you do that? But ultimately, had we not sold this car, we would have not gone to the UK. So let me show you guys what I love about this car. Now let me show you guys something that I love about this car. So it's got some rust, and obviously it's a coastal car, but personally I feel that it's super authentic. This car has never had paint work in its life. In fact, you can hear the metal. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's how original this car is. So I love the fact that it's got its patina look on it. The beadings are pinned straight on the car, and that is another selling point for this car. Taillights are in amazing condition. If this car is given a nice detail, the taillights will look much better, but you can see the taillights have got no cracks on them. Very rare to get, you got to buy them from overseas. So that's also another selling point on this car. The bumpers are very straight with a small dent here, and it's got a little bit of oxidation on the bumper which can be cleaned out without us having to re-chrome the bumper. But I like it because it talks to the rest and the exterior of the car. Now I want to show you guys how clean the boot is. Look at that. Look at how clean. And I mean, guys, I want to show you what it's like. I wish you guys were here to experience what I'm experiencing now. So this is your original factory rubber, right? Look at how awesome is this. The screw was never removed. That's how original this car is. This, you'll notice if you're a BMW guy, a lot of the old classic BMWs come with this, the E12s, the 65s, etc. 65 ones, they have a bit of carpet on it, but this is the old school covers. I'm not too sure if this is the factory floorboard. It looks like it's a factory floorboard. So have a look. This is the original spare wheel from when the car came out. It's an old school Michelin tires. You'll have a look at the branding. This is how Michelin's logo used to be back in the day. So it's a super original car, and that's why I love this car, and that's why I think I will regret it, but ultimately we had to sacrifice for the bigger picture, and the bigger picture was in Kabi going to the UK and Chip followed. Now the previous owner used to believe in purchasing all the parts and keeping spares. So check how cool is this. This is your wheel cylinder repair kit. So I love coming across stuff like this. Even if you smell it, it's got it. So this is the little things that I look for when purchasing a car, and that qualifies a car to be a special car. 20th of May, 2 days after my birthday, 1999. BMW 5 Series, it's one of 5 Series, but the unit price for the boots were 15 Rand. So 30 bucks. That was less at that point in time, 4 and 20, so 34 and 20. Let's see, we got another invoice here, 27th of May, 1999. I don't know what this is for, bearing man, but this is actually what makes this car so special. I'm actually going to put this in the file now. So have a look at the fuel filler cap. Check the condition of it. Original, clean, shiny. It's got the original sticker, also in German. So this car's got a lot of, I think this was a German import. It is obviously, I'll show you guys the windows now in a bit, but it's a little stuff that I look at. Look at the condition of this beading and the windscreen rubber. So I don't think the car was exposed to a lot of sunlight. The reason why I say that is because normally if it was exposed to sunlight, this rubber, being a 1964 car, this rubber would have disintegrated and we would have had a lot of wear on the back seat and the backboard. I'm gonna take you guys to the interior in a bit, which is possibly my favorite part of the car. But have a look, this is original glass, factory glass, and it's in German. Have a look at the beadings. The beadings are pin straight and in near perfect condition all around. That's what I look at. It's got its original glass. So that means that the glass around the car is original. It was never changed. So the car was never in an accident, never involved in a break-in. So it's absolutely amazing to find a car in this condition. There is a little bit of surface rust, but we're gonna get into the bodywork in a bit. And Jody actually asked me what are we doing to the car, and me being the type of person I am, it's not about the sale, it's not about obviously getting the invoice higher. I convinced Jody not to let me restore the car and not to let me paint the car or change anything on the car, but to keep it original. Worst case scenario, we might just put the wheel and lower it slightly just to get a bit more of a correct stance. But ultimately, I would say that a car like this needs to be kept in its original form, and that's it. It needs to be preserved because it lasted from 1964 up until now. I personally think a car like this was just chill. You appreciate it for what it is. Like I said, it's a very iconic car. It was a performance car at the time. So maybe if I had to keep the car, or if I had to give Jody advice, I would say we could refurbish the wheel caps, refurbish the wheels. I think that would make sense because the car drives amazing. When we took it out on the road, it drives amazing. It is smoking a bit, hasn't been serviced in a while. points condenser, so all of it needs to be done, which is something that we will do in future. And also the carburetors need to be cleaned, but we'll get to that when we get to the engine bay. Look at the condition of this. So this is an ashtray. Back in the day you were allowed to smoke in cars, but immediately when I jump into this car, I get that smell, and that smell takes me back to when I was a few years old, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. It smells like my home I grew up in. A lot of people will associate it with your grandmother. It smells like your grandmother. It smells like your grandmother's room. But this car realistically takes me back in time to my late parents' house. And you know, back in the day there wasn't laminate flooring, there wasn't so much tiles, there was a lot of carpet, and the house and furniture, and you used to get that certain old school smell. This car smells like my childhood, I'm not gonna lie. What I love about it, again, the door panels have never been stripped. There's no wear on the screws. You can see the condition of the trim, guys. Like, this interior is near perfect. And again, for a car from 1964 to be able to survive, and the interior to survive like this, it goes to show you the build quality there was back in the day. I want you guys to have a look at the back seat. Check the back seat's condition. How's this? Those back seats were never ever used. And I say this because it looks brand new, like it came out of the factory. And also the back of the seats. Normally when people sit at the back of the seats, especially if there's kids, they're kicking and the material tends to tear. There's absolutely no wear and tear on this interior. Another selling point for me is the condition of the roof liner. So it's got a little bit of dirt, but this is original, untouched. I really wish you guys were here to see what I'm seeing. And if you want to come past the shop to have a look at this car, I'm inviting you guys to come and visit and have a look at this car and come and appreciate this car for what it is. Look at the handles, look at the condition of the chrome here, look at the seat belts. I mean, guys, this car is near perfect on the interior. Okay guys, now don't focus on my toes, focus on the carpet. I'm not showing you guys my toes, I'm showing you my carpet. So look at the condition of your carpet trim, your original rubber. This car was never ever opened up for wiring or anything. Even the chrome beading underneath by the sill is in absolutely amazing condition, and all this here can be polished out and it can obviously look brand new again with some TLC. So I'm quite impressed with this car. How do you guys feel about this car? I'm sure you never knew this car was so special up until this video, and that's what this video is about. It's about showing you guys exactly why I love BMW, and also it's about showing you guys exactly what to look for on cars, teaching you guys. Maybe I learned from you as well, you never know. I'm gonna put this down now because I'm working with the invoices here. Okay, comfort, guys. The seats are soft, it feels like a lounge suite. Again, interior condition is absolutely amazing. Now, something that was different on the 1800s is that they came with the wooden trim, which was like a high spec at the time. So it's quite a special car, quite a special spec. What I do love is the big steering wheel, typical old school BMW. I love the way the badge is positioned. I love the fact that BMW reminds you that you are driving a BMW. So that again is testament to BMW's design back in the day. That's why I love the old school BMW cars. And also you'll notice the clocks are that fighter jet style. You feel like you're sitting in a plane kind of, and you got this fighter jet dials. So I love that as well. And again, it was all about simplicity. They didn't need to do a lot. This little bit of wood trim shows that you are in a top of the range BMW. And if you were the top dog back in the day, this is the car you would be wanting to drive. Again, absolutely amazing condition of sun visors. I mean, this car with a nice detail will actually look better than what it looks now. There is a little bit of wear on the dashboard. I don't think this dashboard needs to be recovered. I think if anything, I would live with it like this. Alternatively, I would strip these pieces and re-glue the material. I would definitely not recover it because I don't think it needs to be recovered. And then, yeah, but ultimately it's a beautiful car. I love the design, I love the comfort, I love the condition of the interior. Hopefully you guys can see this, but this is kind of cool. This is a latch for you to open your pocket. You can put, at the time there was no cell phones, but if you own the car now, you can put your cell phone here or your wallet. So that was BMW's thing, door pockets. Also, let's not forget your quarter window. So back in the day, there was no aircon. This ultimately is your aircon, and this ultimately is your aircon. So that's your aircon, guys. How cool is that? So it's all the little things that make this car special. Again, numbers matching windows. Numbers matching windows. I love this car. I am a bit sad I sold it, but I sold it for a bigger purpose. And hopefully one day I can buy it back from Jody. Or alternatively, we can find another one that's also in such a good condition. So hopefully we'll find it. Let me take you guys through to the front and show you guys some of the work I would potentially do on the car. Now you'll notice same front end as the 2002. Very special kidney grille, similar to the E9, the E3, the E21. So that was the kidney grille style back in the day. The bumper does show signs of oxidation and wear. So re-chroming the bumpers would be a good option. There is something that's bothering me, is this grey front strip. I think the car had some damage. I'm not sure what happened here, so they probably painted the grey strip to actually prevent the damage. Maybe it was for stone chips or whatever. But if there's any paint work that would need to be done, potentially the bonnet or this portion of the bonnet, but I wouldn't do it. I would leave it as is, and it adds the character, the flavor of the car. If you're super fussy, you could paint it, but I would leave it as is. What do you guys think? Would you guys have fixed this and painted the bonnet? Another cool option is maybe giving the car a bit of a light flat and putting a clear coat over, a little bit of rust prevention in a few areas so that you can save the patina. But I kind of like it. Another cool thing is, check it how cool and clean is the condition of the indicator lenses. I like this. This goes to show me that the car wasn't driven much. So I want to take you guys to the engine and why this car is so special. If there is something I would do, I would definitely tidy up the engine bay. So the car, what makes this car so special is that it's got the dual Solex carburetor system. In today's times, to find guys that can set these carburetors is very difficult. I do pick up that the car is smoking quite a bit. Definitely service the carburetors, definitely do an oil change, definitely recon the radiator. I would even go a step further and kind of paint the engine bay and clean the engine bay up, the inside of the bonnet. But it's a beautiful car. It drives amazing. For what it is, I appreciate it. For what it's done for BMW, I appreciate it. And I appreciate its originality. So yes, maybe I would play around with the engine bay a bit just to tidy it up. But then again, I'd feel a little bit bad because I feel like this car should stay the way it is, with a little bit of TLC on it, but it has to have its original character and why the car is so special. What do you guys think? Would you guys do a motor swap? Would you leave the original engine? Maybe it would be cool to take off the air filter housing, powder coat it, change the coolant pipes, do the tappet cover, just small stuff just to make it look a bit nicer. But yeah, I like this car. I really, in fact, I don't like it. I love this car. I think it's a very special car. Now let me show you guys why this particular car is so special. So it's got all its original keys. This was the key holders back in the day. So this, I'm sure your opa or your oma probably had key holders like this. So this is a BMW key holder, original keys, spare keys, everything. So another selling point. And another point that makes a car valuable, this is the files that came with the car. There's a whole lot of more old parts, but I want to show you guys the spark plugs bought from BMW back in the day. So that's how the spark plugs used to look. And these are all the books that came with the car. So look at this. Shows you your front axle, the body. It's even got the dividers, and BO stands for body, S stands for steering, B stands for brakes, wheels and tires. So that was the coding so that you don't get lost when you are trying to find out what's wrong with your car. Check here. Above part numbers quoted from BMW parts, book obtained June 1965. This one is the 14th of the 9th month, 67. Spares for 1965 BMW 1800 Ti. Guys, this is history. This is what owning classic cars are about. Here's a letter actually. Republic of South Africa. Importation of a motor car. I refer to your letter of the 6th of October 1964 as well as the pro forma invoice submitted, and wish to inform you that the standard invoice is required as per my letter of the 19th of May 1964. The engine number which must be furnished to this directorate before an import permit can be granted will be stated on this invoice. Your pro forma invoice is returned herewith. Yours faithfully. So this car was actually imported. Here's your import letter. So it's definitely not a local car. That's why the tag is in German and a lot of the or in Dutch. When you are building your car or keeping your car, it's always nice to keep as much history and information as possible. So in future, when you sell the car and you pass it on to someone else, they understand the history and the maintenance record of the car, and the car tells a story. So just from this, we know that the car was maintained. A lot of original parts were bought from BMW. That's what I learned so far. Number two is I learned that the car was imported. So just by this year, I also learned a bit about the previous owner, is that he was very meticulous, and that's why he has all the repair manuals, all the invoices, all the slips. So that's testament to this car's condition. So a tip from me, keep all your invoices, make sure that you always use good quality parts. You don't have to buy from BMW, although it is preferred, but some parts are expensive, some parts are affordable. But it's nice to put good quality parts to ensure that your car lasts a very long time. 1964, guys, and this car is in this condition. It tells you the history of the car. Cars like this are cars that have changed the automobile industry. It's nice to be a part of it. It's nice to revive them, bring them back to life. And let us know in the comments below, do you know this model? Is it the first time you ever seen this model? And if so, do you have a specific memory relating to this car or something similar? Please comment down below. You know I love it when you guys interact. I love the feedback. So please do me a favor and comment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel. It's growing at an immense rate. Our future projections are looking good, and we aim to bring you more content. So yeah, thank you so much for all that you guys have done thus far for the channel, and thank you to all these champs always commenting, interacting. You guys are legends. We love giving you guys recognition, and I hope to see you guys soon. Remember, on the 19th of November we are having the Inkabi homecoming. I hope to see you guys there. Let's celebrate the win for South Africa, and you guys stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.
The people don't
The beadings need to be polished, but the beadings are, I almost said boodings. Not the boodings, the beadings. Old car smell, I don't know if you guys can smell it. Can you smell it? No, you can't. Chuck, don't be silly.
Do you indeed think that there is life on other planets?